Hey there, I'm about to go pick up a friend, and he's been borrowing my REVV D20 amp all week and playing it at a camp, so we're gonna go pick him up and the amp and kind of hear how it went, how did it work in a live environment. I feel like that'd be the best way to kind of tell you how these amps respond. We'll have a conversation, yeah, you can see what this amp is like. Let's go get him. I'm gonna do a studio tour eventually, but just not yet. I've just been working too much. Bye. I ever mentioned before how humid it is in North Carolina? I mean, this is ridiculous. Hey.
Let's get a little more light.
We need a hair light?
Yeah, there you go.
Give me a hair light.
Oh man, that's look at yourself. Look how good.
Oh man, I look good. I need a hair light. Let me put.
Oh man.
I just took a shower too. So
Did you? You smell great.
Thank you.
So the amp, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Back there.
It's in the back seat.
Let's go plug it in.
Yeah, we're gonna go plug it in the studio.
Hear how it went.
Been using it for a week.
Did you really like it though?
Yeah.
You did like it?
It's you know, every venue is a little different. You know,
Yeah.
so it's always hard to tell how it'll work in other venues, but I plugged it in, just put it on the one setting.
Yeah.
And it sounded good. And then I tweaked it a little bit, changed the cabs, and got it better.
Okay. Nice.
So it worked with my rig pretty easily, and then I had to go to the effects loop to make it work a little better because it was.
Okay. Let's go talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk
Let's
about
do it.
it.
Let's do it.
Where's the logo?
Oh, there's the logo. And everyone, I'm wearing the shirt.
Oh yeah.
Just in case you didn't know what video we were recording today.
It seemed to work really well.
Here's my wet grass we'll walk through. Slammed that amp down harder than I wanted to.
It's in a case.
It's in a case.
So you went to a camp.
Yeah. I played at a camp with Illumination Project. Check them out on what? I'll make Jimmy link them below.
I'll link it below.
Link it below. We're on Spotify, iTunes, the whole deal. You know. But we did a camp in Virginia. Great camp, good people. And I played the REVV amp.
It's so small. It's so
open.
tiny.
The tiny little REVV amp the
Look
whole
at this
time
thing.
with no cabinet, just straight out of the back. And here, I'll
How
show
was
you
it
the back.
on your back?
It was great. Oh, on my back it was great because I flew in, so I didn't fly with an amp.
Right.
And they didn't really have a backline amp there or anything that I would like, so I figured I'd borrow that.
Just pull this right out.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
And it was great. It got the job done. It was really easy to use.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. You know, I love the Kempers.
Yeah.
And the HX Stomps, and they sound great, but they're not easy to use.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. So this was just looks like an amp.
Yeah.
And it is an amp.
And it is an amp, like it's tubes and all.
Yeah.
It just has like right here, virtual cabinet.
Yeah, so it's got a 2 notes torpedo built into the back of it. 2 notes audio engineering, which the 2 notes torpedo is an IR and cab sim.
Yeah.
That's really nice, and they just built it into here apparently. And it works super well. So you can use it with a cabinet or without a cabinet. I didn't have a cabinet, so I used it without a cabinet.
And you just went direct, like
Well, yeah.
XLR out.
XLR out, and it's got 6 cab sims built into the front, like presets, which can be changed in the app.
Did you change any of them?
No, I didn't even know how to get into it. So I used the second one, which I didn't even know what it was until yesterday.
After the event.
Yeah, yesterday I got home from the event, and I was like, well, let me plug this thing up and see
what I
it's
was actually
got.
playing
Yeah.
with.
And so I found that out because you can't really find online any info about what the 6 are.
Right.
It just it tells you what 6 or which ones it comes with, but it doesn't tell you what 1 through 6 are.
Yeah.
So I pulled up the app and checked it out, and it was a 412, the REVV 412.
Okay, they're
Yeah, with
412.
like a vintage 30 in it or something like that.
nice.
A Celestion V30 in it. You
Actually,
know, it
pause.
says right here what the.
There it is.
I hate to do that to him. And I didn't know. I thought it was dry the whole time, but apparently it had a little bit of like
a little bit
a
of
reverb on it. I could hardly tell in the
So
ears.
just a touch.
Yeah, and you can go in the app and change
It
it.
says generous reverb.
It was like I could hardly hear it.
Right. And that's a big deal coming from Chris.
Part of it was like I'm using my in-ears.
Yeah.
And I'm getting it it was all post EQ from the board. So that changes things.
Yeah.
You know, every situation's a tad different.
Right.
So I just kind of turned the knob until it sounded good in the room and in my ears.
Right.
Both together. And the 2 sounded great to me. I had to turn the bass way down.
Did you? Okay.
I did, yeah. And I think that was their room.
Yeah.
Well,
What
we'll
size
see.
room?
We'll plug it up. It was like a It was a relatively small room. It was like a gym, a treated gym.
Oh,
Think of
okay.
it that way. So
Okay,
really
treated
long,
gym. Nice.
really long, and really shallow.
Nice.
And they had the subs on the stage, so really resonant,
just reverberating.
really resonant. Yeah, and so I mean, it was a relatively decent setup. The thing, a lot of modeling amps, most of them really, if you're going direct, you're at the mercy of the PA.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a good PA, then you're not going to have a great sound.
That's true.
Sometimes you can get by with just having an amp on stage and not even micing it, and you have your sound.
Right.
Period. But this place was pretty good, and this made it easier to just change a few things to help fit the room.
Yeah.
And the PA
You don't have
that
to
they
open
had.
an app or anything. You're just like
real
like a real amp because it is.
Yeah, and that's really what I like about it. I could just do a few different things here on the front with 5 knobs or whatever and make it sound good to me.
Did the plate fall off on you again?
It did, and then I stuck it back on and it stayed.
Yeah.
So I think maybe once the amp got hot,
Oh,
it melted the glue.
Yeah. So I haven't played much through this amp. I mean, I'm on the wrong side of the light, but anyways, I haven't played through much, but it just sat over here on my counter. And one day I came in and my the faceplate fell off, or was
It
just
might fall
off.
off today. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I
I figure some hot glue, like a hot glue gun, could
probably it's just glued on there. It's Rev made some good stuff, but they didn't make a plate that stayed on. So
Hey, let's plug it up.
let's plug it up.
So it just has an XLR out on the back. It has a cool light on it, the blue light.
Let it warm up. Just like I played it for the camp.
So what did you just do? What is this?
That is a boost. If you pull it out, you just get a little gain boost into the amp.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it just sounded a little fatter. I didn't want it to overdrive that much.
Right.
So I had the gain all the way down.
All the way down.
And I pulled the boost because it sounded a little fatter. Probably had that about there somewhere. And I had the bass almost all the way off.
Okay.
And then I turned the power amp volume up a little bit. So it's clipping the power amp a tad. It wasn't clipping the preamp very much. And I thought that sounded really good in the room.
Did you mess with any of these? Did you keep it at 20?
No, I think I hit 4 once just to goof around.
Okay.
But it overdrives it pretty heavy at 4.
Okay.
Which was cool, but it wasn't what I was looking for that.
Right. And the cool thing about this amp is it has headphone out.
It does.
So you could practice.
And what I was going to say is I found out, because when I first got there, I wasn't getting any signal. I'm like, man, what is going on with this thing? Couldn't figure it out. And the level that you would think is just for headphones is also for the balanced out.
Oh.
So
that is very good to know. All right, so it has this online software thing, and you can mess with all this stuff.
Yeah.
It has a tuner?
It does.
Look at that.
Right here, that sounds great.
Yeah, I love that tone.
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, that sounds
it's nice
that
and
sounds
warm.
awesome.
I would turn the bass down a bit probably if I was playing it live. But if it's just me playing, then I can have the bass as loud as I want.
That's right. That's right.
But it doesn't really get in the way. Yeah.
So explain to me. You were saying something about the effects loop, like how you ran your pedal board into it.
Yeah. So I was using this guitar through this amp, and I had it set about like this. And as you can hear, if I dig in, it overdrives a bit, just a little bit. And that's about how I like it. I might even push it a little harder. Let's see if we. It sounds a little meaty, which is that kind of 6v6 vibe, which I like because I normally play a deluxe reverb, which is the same power tubes as this amp.
Okay.
So it's kind of this amp's kind of modeled after the amp I normally play. That's part of why I think I like it so much.
Yeah.
And it's got the overdrive is a little more on the low mid section. It's a little growly, which I like. But I had a little bit of that going, and if I would dig in or hit an overdrive pedal, it would overdrive it a little more.
Yeah.
And if my delays and reverbs were in front of that, I just had one delay and one reverb. If it was in front of that, then it got messy and gross, and it was compressing the speaker.
Gotcha.
And the amp, so the delays come up way front. So like as soon as you stop playing, the delays are super loud. The reverb grows super loud, and it can be a fun sound, but it gets sloppy, especially in a full mix.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I'm not used to running my amp that hot, like my actual amp.
Right.
Just because it's too loud to do that. And so I normally don't have to do an effects loop, which my deluxe reverb doesn't even have an effects loop. But with this, I was like, if I'm going to run it as hot as I'm running it with the same tone, then I have to use the effects loop. So I got a couple more cables and ran into the effects loop on the back, and it cleaned things up a lot.
Yeah.
And that was where it really shone, I thought. Like it sounded really clean, but also like an actual amp being overdriven.
Yeah.
Without all the nastiness sometimes you get from doing that to a real amp. Like the speaker wasn't, using the speaker modelers, the speaker wasn't getting as flubby because it's like a computer speaker.
Right.
So I guess it wouldn't get the nastiness.
Yeah, that an actual one.
Yeah.
What if we put an overdrive in front of it?
Let's put an overdrive.
We actually have the Rev tilt.
Let's use the Rev tilt.
We'll run the tilt. You'll be plugging your guitar in here.
Mm-hmm.
Go in there and then we'll run that. So
yeah.
let's get some cables. All right, so here we go. We got some stuff hooked up here. We got the tilt, overdrive, guitar, tilt to the front of the amp. But then we also have this little sonic ambience pedal here that I got into the effects loop. Mm-hmm. So different color cables. You can see how they're wired up there.
Yep. Just
real hard.
Dime it, a little less gain there. Let's see. Is the boost? Nice. I like that the boost is a separate boost and not just a boost of the drive.
Right. Like the Full Tone 3 finally did.
Oh, did they do that?
Yeah,
now?
they finally
I didn't know that.
Full Tone 2 is awesome. That
Yeah.
But it's not independent.
Yeah. So these are two separate pedals. It seems like you can dial in the amount of low end you want post overdrive is kind of what it feels like, or like post boost, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just dime that boost and see what happens. Let's this is dialing back, or it's just like it's where the EQ sits.
Right.
Is what it seems like.
So if we were to roll this off.
Yeah, that's like the least amount.
The least amount of bass. So it's like we tilted all the bass out.
We should probably read about this pedal.
No. Let's just keep guessing by these little lines. It says this. Tilt EQ simultaneously attenuates bass and boost treble to add chime to your tone while keeping low end tight. This is helpful because bass builds up as you add gain.
Let's see. Yeah, that sounds good.
I noticed what you're saying. Like at that certain setting, it almost like you had it boosted, or you had the overdrive, and then when you boosted it, took away the low end, so it almost got quieter.
So the boost is working as it's intended. It seems like the boost cuts lows and boosts highs, which gives you more presence, which is typically what you want from a boost. This sounds really good. The boost works really well in conjunction with the other side, which makes sense. That's probably why they put them together.
Now let's act like we put this. I have no idea the settings here. We have
Just turn it on.
Just turn it on and see what happens.
Ooh, there it is.
Okay.
Let me, oh, that's an A. So it's analog, digital, tape, and reverse. Yep.
Reverse.
The delay feeds into the reverb,
Gotcha.
which is nice, and which is typically what I want to kind of smooth out those delays a little bit.
Right.
I wonder if you could change it though. That would be.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be a useful feature.
I'll have to read the
Maybe
manual.
not.
I'll have to read the manual.
There's a lot of verb in this box. Like the mix is hardly up.
Sonic ambience.
See, you got the room in there?
I had a little bit, just a little
Put
dab of
down a
room.
bunch and see.
These pedals are so inexpensive too. They're like,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean,
$2.
yeah, they are $2. I want a Christmas tune.
Christmas tune?
I mean, by the time people are watching this, by the time I get done editing all this footage,
It'd
it
be
might be
Christmas.
Christmas.
There's a lot of stuff.
I don't know when you're watching this video, but it's
Christmas
it's
too.
July right now.
Christmas. You like that?
I like it.
Use it at Christmas.
I use it at Christmas. All right,
What do
so
we,
closing thoughts, man. What do you think about this amp? Should people? Is this a worship? You know, we're on a worship leader channel. I feel like what was very good about this amp is that you get that real amp, tactile feel with a bunch of options. You can load cabs. You can practice at home. You can go XLR out.
Yeah. What I like about it is exactly that it feels like a real amp. There are knobs that do the same things as because it is a real amp.
Yeah.
So it's really similar to my Deluxe Reverb and my Deluxe Reverb reissue except for it has a boost, which is a nice option.
Yep.
And it has a middle EQ. And it is single channel technically, but the Deluxe Reverb has two different channels. But that boost gives you a second channel. I wish the boost was foot switchable. That would be a nice addition for the future Rev. But for now, it works fine. And all the cab options sound great. I haven't been able to put it into a real cab yet, so I don't know how it performs in that sense, because that's how I'll be using it. If I use it again, that's how I'll be using it.
Yeah.
A lot of times. But it seems, I know Shawn Tubbs has done all the videos, so you don't need another demo video of this necessarily.
Right.
He's done, and he sounds great doing it. He did a video through just a cab, mic'd up per usual, and he sounded great doing it. But you know, when
He sounds great.
yeah, he just sounds good. He could play a trash can into a radio, and it would sound great.
I should say, they didn't sponsor this video other than the fact they did send me these items, but I can say whatever I want. They didn't even say I had to make a video, but I just wanted to because I was like, this stuff's awesome.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there
Rev
you go.
makes good stuff.
And thanks for the t-shirt. And you know, in the box you get pics and all that fun stuff. Oh, and it's like over there, but you get a certificate of like authenticity and all that stuff in the box, which is pretty cool. So anyways, all right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.